Do you ever have this problem where your bit wanders when you're starting to drill a new hole? If this doesn't happen to you, consider yourself lucky. But if it ever does, keep watching and I'll show you what tool I've been using to get around this issue. This is my automatic center punch. I just started using this one about a month ago, and before that I never had a center punch that I really used. I definitely never had an automatic one, and I think that's the difference here and why I've been using this one so much. It's just so easy. What it does is it creates a little dimple in the piece you're working on, and how you use it is you just line it up. I lay it down kind of on the side like this and line up. You see that very fine tip. Line it up with where you want to punch a little hole. Straighten it out and press down until you hear it snap. And what it does is it leaves you with this little dimple, kind of a starter hole that you can use to put your drill bit into and start your drilled hole exactly, accurately in the right spot. And the bit really sticks tight inside this hole too. Unless you're using a bit that's way too big compared to the center punch that you're using, this really works like a charm. The hole it makes almost looks like something you would get from like a countersink bit. So it's tapered down like an upside down cone, and the deepest part of the hole is right in the center. So that gives you a super easy way to start drilling your hole. I found this tool super useful when drilling into metal. Oftentimes, I think if you're drilling into metal and don't have much experience or aren't using a drill press, it's you kind of have a high chance for the bit to just shoot off to the side and slip over the piece that you're working on. And for wood, especially if you're in a unique situation like drilling a hole right next to another hole or drilling a hole next to something that's kind of trying to suck your drill bit into it, um, really useful there. So this is what it looks like when it's all taken apart, and to put it back together we're just going to grab the front cap here and place the tip inside the cap. And some of these tips might be replaceable. If you're looking to replace your tip or get a different size one, that might be an option depending on which punch you have. So just go ahead and stick that tip inside the cap here and then put the ball bearing in next. After that, you are going to put the anvil inside the spring, and then that whole part can get put in the middle body part, and then you're just going to screw the cap onto the middle body. After that, it's just time for the back, and you're going to drop the slug in, and then the spring, and then the rear cap goes on last. And the tighter that you tighten this rear cap, the bigger your hole will be, the bigger your dimple will be. So it's like if this wasn't an automatic center punch and it was just a regular center punch, you'd have to hit it with a hammer. So screwing this back cap down is basically the same thing as hitting a regular center punch harder with a hammer. And to hit it lighter, you're just going to back off, twist this rear cap to the left, and that'll loosen the tension and give you a lighter hit. So funny story about this one, I actually had it for a few months before I ever used it. Feels kind of stupid to say now, but I just honestly had no idea what it was. It's not brand new. I actually found it in my grandpa's back garage. He passed away a few years ago, and since then my grandma, has been nice enough to let me just go through all his old tools and see if there's anything that I can make use of. So lots of cool tools coming from there, and I'll be sure to share more of them with you guys. But for now, I've been using this one a ton. It's earned a spot. I keep it in the case where I keep all my commonly used screws and most of my drill bits. It's not really a tool that I would have, thought to go out and buy, but now that I have been using it, it's definitely one that I'm going to keep, and it just makes starting a hole a lot easier. Just easy to use, easy to work with. I really like that you don't need really you don't need more than one hand if you're in a pinch, and you don't need a hammer. And I think that it's not a pain in the ass to use a hammer in a normal punch, but this way it's just such a small footprint, and you don't need to have your big hammer out and your center punch and grab it with two hands, and it's just a lot quicker. So if you guys already have a center punch or think you might pick one up, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have any questions or want to let us know how you all use your center punches, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay up to date on all my latest videos. And if you want to get an automatic center punch that is pretty similar to this one, check out the link below.